Hey, what's going on guys? This is Justin at WinkSound.com. This video is about battery 3, and what I'm going to show you is an overview of the articulation section in the setup tab. Now this section is great for adding realism and dynamics to any one of your samples, so let's check it out.
So in battery 3 in the setup tab, you have this articulation section. It's really cool. You can add some cool little effects to your samples, to your drum hits, and obviously articulation to them, and add a little realism to them as well. So to enable it, just select the cell with the sample you want to enable it on, and then just go to the top left corner, this button right here. When it turns yellow, it's enabled. So the first thing you have is alternate stroke, and basically what this will do is give you some slight variations on that sample, so it doesn't sound like one continuous exact same hit over and over. Add a little bit of realism there. So just adjust the depth more to the right to get more of a notice and sound changing. And then you got the random parameter over here, which will basically randomize those different sound variations. You got the release stroke, and basically when you hit the key on your MIDI keyboard or controller and you release it, you'll get another hit. And if you adjust the variation all the way to the right, you hear the released hit very differently. Kind of up in pitch almost. And to the left, you trigger the same sample over and over, and you could adjust the velocity to make that release stroke louder. You got Flam, will basically give you a Flam hit, which is like 2 quick hits, and you could adjust the speed on how fast those hits come in. Left slow and right fast, and you could adjust the dynamics of those 2 hits. Then you got drag, and drag is basically like an extended Flam, where it's almost like a fade into the Flam. And you got the same parameters, speed and dynamics, to adjust those hits. Then you got the 3-stroke rough, which is almost like a marching band kind of military, marching band kind of hit. You get the idea there. And then you have roll, which basically give you a roll. Adjust dynamics to increase the level. And you got speed. Left is slow, right is fast. And the roll is cool because you can do this on like a hi-hat. Let me find it. And there's your hi-hats right there. And instead of having to program all those little hits, you could just do that and you get all of them right there real fast. And then also, if you play like heavy metal or something like that, and you like your drums to have a lot of that double bass, you can do that. You can use roll with a kick drum as well. And I'll give you that real quick. So next thing is buzz, and it gives you kind of a buzzing sound on the sample. And if you put it on drums, like for instance this snare drum, and you adjust the pressure and grip a bit, it almost sounds like the drum head is maybe cracked somewhere or something like that. Almost like degrades the sound a little bit, give it a little dirt, and mutes it. And you could adjust the attack and decay on how that mute it actually sounds. And you have the speed roll. Kind of a sound design tool. I don't know if you'll really use that within a beat, maybe for some like glitch stuff or something like that. And then you got this Geiger Counter here, and basically the Geiger Counter was this instrument to measure radiation that makes like these noises and clicks and stuff. This guy Hans Geiger, a physicist, invented this, and they kind of took that sound so you could add it to your samples here. The more you adjust the decay to the right, the more you actually hear the sample. sound than just noise. And you could use this if you're like triggering loops and stuff. It's real cool. That's Flam. There's drag. I like drag a lot. And I think 3-stroke rough is probably my favorite. Roll doesn't do much. Buzz only gives you that buzzing sound on the first initial hit. And mute just mutes it. And speed roll, basically the same as a regular speed roll on any other sample. And the Geiger, get some real crazy stuff there. Alternate stroke doesn't really affect it because you don't really hit the MIDI key or the MIDI note on your controller multiple times to trigger a loop. You just kind of usually hit it once. And the release is kind of cool. You hit the MIDI note or the MIDI controller button, and however long you hold it, when you release it, it'll play it the same length.
Check out WinkSound on the iTunes Store to subscribe to the podcast, listen to some music, and download the free iPhone app that will keep you up to date with all of the latest releases from WinkSound Studios. Just search for WinkSound at the iTunes Store.